Ah,
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Talking God and Politics with Mark, Mike, and my beautiful wife, Denise. It's been a while, Mark.
Yep, we missed last week, but
we did.
life happens, man. It's the
Yes.
way it is.
Well, we have
Um,
a lot of things happening this week, some things you want to talk about, some mutual things that we want to talk about.
yeah,
Um,
Um, Tucker
Nick
finally
Fuentes.
had Nick Fuentes on.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't think that was ever going to happen, but
Yeah, it was good in the sense that, I mean, I guess we can lead with that, but it was good in the sense that they kind of made peace because the more unity in the movement, the better. But it just missed completely the main issue.
yeah,
And the main issue, I mean, you've got some issues on there too, but the main issue that I brought up in my book, citing DNA evidence and the history of the Khazarian Empire, encyclopedias that are Jewish encyclopedias admitting that there's no Jewish race today. So the conversation totally didn't go anywhere. And here was the main point that didn't get discussed was the Talmud. You know,
right.
um, Tucker is a little bit naive.
Mhm.
He's good natured. He wants to believe the best in people,
Mhm.
and he doesn't want to, make any arguments that's going to give the enemy an excuse to attack. And that was his main point to Nick.
Right.
But in doing that, Tucker is failed to address the foundation to the issue, and that is the Talmud. So there are a lot of Muslims that are nice people, but those Muslims, I would say, are professing Muslims. Like they don't really know the Quran. They don't live their life to model Muhammad, because if they did and they believe that they should be following Muhammad's example and the Quran, they would be waging jihad
Jihad.
in the mind, in the heart, through deception, and then ultimately through military and subjective action. And so the same with the Talmud. You might, sure, great, you might know some Jews that are nice people, that aren't globalists, that aren't talking about enslaving people and aren't referring to you as an animal. Great, big deal, because the vast majority of them do are very interested in the Talmud, very much think that they're God's chosen people, and have an eschatology of enslavement. And that just, of course, never got discussed.
Well, and I think, and a lot of people miss that, but and I think that's your crusade. I think that's where,
Mhm.
I think that's where what you're trying to do. You know, Nick and Tucker don't understand that. They don't even
Nick
grasp.
does. Nick does. For whatever reason, he didn't address it.
Well,
But
he didn't. He talked like, yeah. So okay, I don't listen to him much. I get the clips on X. I'm not an avid listener like I am with Tucker. But Tucker doesn't understand, and the way Nick was talking too, he doesn't understand. The Jew, where the even the term Jew came from.
right.
You know, um, but I'm glad they got together.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now there was another clip that'll probably go viral. I think it already has, from that interview, and that is where Tucker is very passionate that he believes, and he said that he's more angry at this group than any other group, which was excellent, and that is quote unquote Christian
Christian
Zionists
Zionists.
like Ted Cruz, Mike Johnson,
Mike Huckabee.
Mike Huckabee, who, of course, have responded that, oh, Tucker just doesn't know the Bible. No, they
right,
don't know the Bible. They're
right.
promoting a heresy.
Frustrates me.
Yeah. But
It
that,
drives me nuts every time I see it.
yeah. But that is really what Tucker is pushing, which is great because he has an intense platform. So what he's doing, God is using him to put eschatology and theology at the forefront of this foreign policy issue, which is where it needs to be, because all of these systems have worldviews and eschatologies that they're trying to form and fashion through foreign policy. And if you don't understand where their end game is going,
Mhm.
you won't understand their worldview and why they
Right.
do what they do. And that's
Well,
why I was so frustrated that the Talmud wasn't brought up or
right.
anything like that.
And maybe Tucker understands that. He just realizes who his audience is, and he can't go there yet because he is a type of guy that kind of, if you've noticed, he's kind of had this journey to get to where he is now, especially since he's had his own platform. And I'm wondering if he's known that all along, and he's just kind of slowly leading his audience into things that he's known for a while. I don't know. I mean, he has a good show, and he knows how to do that, and maybe that's what that is, or maybe he is clueless. I think biblically, he doesn't understand eschatology.
He knows that he knows that the Christian Zionist eschatology is wrong.
He
And
said that in the
he
interview.
has the sense-
He knows there's something wrong with it. I don't think he fully appreciates or even understands what that means.
Right. But at least he's kind of grappling with it a little bit. And so for that, we're thankful. And you're right, Tucker is a guy that kind of comes to a position kicking and screaming. Like he even says, like, he's the last. I mean, he doesn't want to go that, like 9/11. How long has it taken him to do something like that? But when he gets there, whoo,
He's
man,
there all the way.
yeah, he's powerful when he gets there.
Hey, so Pastor Chuck Baldwin, what do you think of that guy?
You'd have to show me a picture of him.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me play this clip. Speaking of anti-Zionist, and the movement is happening, and I think a lot of Christians they're sensing something's wrong. They don't fully appreciate it, like we just said, but they know that something's not right. And I don't really know a lot about Chuck Baldwin. That's why I asked you that. But he is saying some things that are
that libertarian guy
becoming more and more popular. And I think, this.
Yeah, I know who he is. He's a libertarian dude. That's why you know who he is.
The station. Libertarians are on the train. Democrats are on the train. Independents are on the train. Middle-aged people are on the train. Young people are on the train. Progressives are on the train. A large segment of conservatives are now on the train. Candace Owens' followers are on the train. Tucker Carlson's followers are on the train. Jimmy Dore's followers are on the train. Joe Rogan's followers are on the train. Dave Chappelle's followers are on the train. Billions of people worldwide are on the train leaving the Zionist cult. I'll leave you with this. Back in 1995, Christian Zionists Tim LaHaye and Jerry Jenkins wrote a book about the rapture called Left Behind. Well, now it's 2025, and the trains are pulling out of the Schofield's phony Israel doctrine. So as it turns out, it will be the Christian Zionists who are left behind.
Yep. Absolutely.
Anyway, when I saw that, I thought it was great. I don't know. It seems like I maybe read some things from Chuck Baldwin, but I don't really know his ministry or anything.
Yeah.
But I thought that was great. So that's telling you that things are shifting.
Mm-hmm.
Christians are not fully aware and understanding yet, and put the 80-70 eschatological thing aside, they're not fully understanding the whole Jewish thing.
Get rid of him. Sorry.
Yeah, there's someone in the comments. We got a nuke.
I was on private chat.
I hate it when people show up and do this kind of crap.
All right, just make sure it wasn't.
Yeah, we won't ban anyone good.
Anyway, and I know most of our audience understands this. It seems like, though, I need to just kind of reiterate, and I know your book hit on a lot of this as well. This was the book that basically was dedicated to the DNA science of the Jewish bloodline. I think it's a good book. He breaks down that these were doctors. These were not doctors, Gentile doctors. These were Jewish doctors that did genetic studies.
The initial ones, yeah.
Mhm.
And it goes all the way back into 2001. Dr. Ariella Oppenheim, a Jewish genetics researcher of Hebrew at the Hebrew University in Tel Aviv,
Mm-hmm.
says almost all of who today identify themselves as Jews are not descendants of Abraham, but are in fact Turkish Mongol stock. And then in 2012, Dr. Aaron Elhike, an Israel-born Jewish researcher from Johns Hopkins, said he agreed with what Oppenheim says. Jews are not the descendants of Abraham, but are in fact mongrels. And he went on, let's see, to say the Israel connection is such a tiny part of the genome that it cancels out their DNA claim to the land. He understands all this, but through science.
Right.
Now, and we talked about this in a previous episode where I got in an argument with Grok over this. And because Grok kept saying, well, no, that's not true. And then it would point to some bogus thing. And really, the references were a joke. But no, these are the facts. And so, Tucker, in that interview, when you listen to it, Nick and him missed those facts. And I think a lot of people miss those. You can't, look, you want to call yourself Jewish, fine, but you're not. The term came from the Babylonians. They called them Jew because they were descendants of Judah. Yeah. And there is no connection anymore. They can't prove it. So we've got to stop. You want to go practice the religion, go right ahead. But you cannot sit there and claim.
You know why Nick Fuentes doesn't get that? Why Candace Owens doesn't get that?
Okay.
By why Stu Peters, who I will no longer listen to, and I need to make an announcement on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Do not get that is because they think they connect it to their eschatology. They think that the synagogue of Satan are those Jews, and they say modern Jews who are not really Jews. So they still need in their eschatology an evil, racial, tribally connected Jew to be the Antichrist, and to have modern day Jews in Israel to fit into their eschatological system to be the evil Antichrist figure, whereas the Christian Zionists need Israel so that Jesus can float down on a cloud and save all Israel that they interpret as national Israel. So each system needs racial, tribally connected Jews to fit their system, and that's why you won't have Nick Fuentes deal with that issue. We deal with the issue. You're pointing out the same DNA references that I have in my book. And the beauty of the ones you brought up are these are quote unquote Jews that are in Israel, genetic scientists who are trying to prove initially to support the fact, I want to find out just how Jewish I am. Well, let's do a study and prove these other guys wrong. And they end up being convinced, objectively that they are not Jews.
That's right.
Connected to a race, connected to the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. And the Jewish encyclopedias admitted this for years.
Yeah.
Admitted that there is no Jewish race, and that most of those who are in modern day Israel are from the Khazarian Empire, who converted to the religion of Judaism, changed their last names. That's why they're so white. Like I said, they're whiter than my butt, and my wife can attest my butt is very white. So, they're just not. And it's such a lie, and it's such a scam. But now the modern Jew has, just like climate change, right? They have their science. So now they have their genetic studies that they're claiming prove, oh no, we do go back to Abe. So,
and that's what I was saying. Grok brought those up when I spent an hour arguing with a computer, and it brought it up. But I went and looked at those, and it's just it's almost like it's word salad. It doesn't even make sense.
No.
It's kind of like the COVID thing when you get a doctor to say, oh, well, this is why it's good. And you can tell that, okay, he's really not buying it. He's just doing it because he's got a mortgage and, 3 ex-wives he's got to pay for.
Right, right. So that was a good interview. It kind of went off course there towards the end, talking about women and the difference between. It's like, look, if I wanted to talk to Dr. Phil or listen to Dr. Phil, I would have tuned into Dr. Phil. I don't need either one of you guys talking about, pornography or, you should be talking about Israel and foreign policy and these issues that we're talking about. That's what they should have been talking about the entire show, but unfortunately it didn't. But hey, baby steps, right?
Yeah. And you bring up a good point about the eschatological piece to that, because I think you're right. Look, I am 100% believe without a doubt that no Christian will ever see the full preterist view without God intervention, without a doubt. Because I think every full preterist I've ever talked to, it's the same thing, and it happened to me. But I think it happens in different ways, and hopefully Tucker is coming off as someone that has, later in life become to appreciate his Christianity and begin to really understand what that means, and maybe even begin to follow it, because he talks more about how he reads the Bible. So hopefully this is a step process that God is bringing him to, that he will come to the truth. Look, there's a lot of doctrines I'll argue over, may not die on that hill. Hey, but I will tell you this, full preterism is one I will die on that hill for.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, he's had Doug Wilson, Tucker has on his show. He's had Andrew Isker on his show. Surely those guys, I'm sure, have given him their books. Yeah. So, and both of those guys take a 95% preterist view of the book of Revelation. Oh, okay. Actually, probably a 98% preterist view of the book of Revelation. So he's got the material. It's just a matter of if he studies it and, what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And then he can come to me for the rest of that 5%, 3% to figure it out. But we've got other things going on. Babe, tell us about what's going on with this hurricane.
Oh, this Hurricane Melissa, that has now parked itself, I guess, over Jamaica. But before it parked itself over Jamaica, parked itself in the ocean and gathered up speeds that I guess Owen Schroyer was reporting that even meteorologists have said are, quote, unreal. Speeds of 185 miles an hour with gust up to 220 miles an hour.
That's going to desolate anything.
And an 892 barometric pressure, which is just unheard of.
It's crazy.
So once again, why would Jamaica be significant? Well, wouldn't you know, it's on the 2030 list of
Agenda 2030.
Agenda 2030 list of smart cities.
Yep, got to wipe it all out and claim that land, and just like they did in Hawaii, just like they did in California.
Yep.
Maui or Malibu, yeah.
The Palisades, Malibu, just like they did in Western North Carolina with Helene, so that they could have that land for the mine. Yeah.
So I heard through the grapevine that Ron DeSantis, they voted banning weather manipulation over southern and central Florida. And, I don't know if we're at the peak of hurricane season, but nothing's really happened.
Well, Tennessee was supposed to, we did that too, but it's all tied up in court. You would think that we're a sovereign state, that any state's a sovereign state and says, you can't spray us with poison.
Yeah, but Governor Lee, come on. That guy's a joke.
Well, speaking of weather modification and manipulation, let's talk about a whistleblower within the Kennedy administration. That Kennedy, the word is that this whistleblower is saying, he said that Trump was getting red-pilled on the vaccines, but he was still saying that the chemtrails was a hoax, that it was a conspiracy theory. Like he didn't believe it. And it was blowing people's mind that he couldn't see this. And then there was a whistleblower in Kennedy's team, and he said Kennedy waited and got him one-on-one and had a conversation with him and had all the data right there and had samples and everything. And the guy said that Trump was so pissed off. And he said, Gates assured me that this is not a problem. And I'm thinking, why would you be listening to Gates?
Right.
How can you be president and even talk about globalism and not know who Gates is, the history of his parents, that he's a depopulationist, and he's stealing all of our farmland? I mean, I don't know what. Either Trump is just a moron or he's playing stupid. I don't know what's going on.
I think honestly, we're kind of seeing the same thing that happened in his first administration. Though he has gotten politically smarter, I think he still brings people in for certain reasons in his head, whether it's business or he gets these blinders on and saying, all right, this guy does this thing right. But then when he brings them in,
he's made a lot of money. He's successful. He must know he's
right. Exactly. And then it just
Ella White's got a big church. She must know what she's talking about.
Right. He doesn't realize. I mean, this has been, when you talk about America first, this has been the biggest joke.
Yeah.
Ever.
This segues.
It's a bigger joke than it was the first term.
Yes. It's so like, dude.
This segues into Tucker's, I believe so far, Tucker's #1 video for me. Well, of course, I need to watch his 9/11 documentary, but I know all that stuff.
Oh man,
but anyway,
I've listened to the pieces.
But he had an interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the first half of it, what Tucker did is he said, "I'm going to go over the 5 points of MAGA," and each point he did a video clip. Oh, where'd you go, Mark? Mark decided something happened to Mark. Hopefully, he'll come back. There you are. Let's get you back in here.
I'm not lying.
Anyway. There you go. Okay, so 5 points to MAGA. Each one of them, what he does is he shows a clip of Trump saying it himself. And here were the five points to MAGA. America first, obviously. Borders need to be secured. Of course, what Trump doesn't know, what Charlie Kirk began to point out, is that the biggest donors of replacement migration are these Jewish groups. All right. They're the ones that are pushing all the illegals and the mixed races, because that's the way they enslaved the Goy. It's all in their literature. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's why they're flooding Europe, and they were flooding. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So of course that wasn't talked about in the Nick Fuentes thing either. But anyway, so borders, no new endless wars, #3. 4, free speech, no more cancel culture. 4, and then 5, no more globalization. We need real jobs here. Now, I mean, on the borders, we don't have the wall built yet, but at least it's secure, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. No new endless wars because of his Zionism. Because of his Zionism, that's just, we have to give him an F. We have to give him an F on the wars, because we shouldn't have went over there and bombed Iran at all. Not constitutional. It wasn't defensive. It was just for Israel, and we all know it. Mm-hmm. And then the free speech, no more censorship or cancel culture. Why are you letting the ADL destroy our freedom of speech?
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean, like I've said, I had two. He was the crypto thing and the no wars, and okay, he's delivered on the crypto thing, but the no wars thing is a huge deal, because it's draining our treasure, or it's drained it. We've already gone off. We're not going back.
Right.
And just to facilitate that is insane. And then now we're not even we're getting close to a year in, and now the free speech thing's happening. So look, it's disheartening.
Let me I'm gonna have my wife, I want you to read this, babe, because it's little tiny print, but let me share this. Okay. Just on the whole replacement migration and where it really comes from. All right.
Jews explain why they bring millions of Muslims and African immigrants to Europe. The ultimate goal is the forcible coordination of all countries of the world that shall be achieved by mixing the races with the goal to create a light brown race in Europe. For that reason, 1.5 million immigrants from the third world shall migrate to Europe every year. The result would be a population with an average IQ of 90 that is so dumb to grasp anything but intelligent enough to work. The European countries would never again be competitors in the struggle for global domination, and a multiple millennia old culture would be destroyed. Irrational people who will fight against this mingling of the races and put up any resistance against the global world order should be killed.
No, give the source.
Thomas, Prime Minister, I guess it's Prime Minister Barnett, Jew, director of the Israeli military consultancy, Wikistrat, in his book, The Pentagon's New Map 2004.
So again, this is the Jewish Talmudic playbook on how to dissolve and enslave the Goy nations. And when you're talking about globalist and globalism, think Rothschild, think Talmud, think these Jews that follow the Talmud, because this is the game plan. I'm not worried about Muslims. I mean I am a little bit, but you know, they're not here and they're not going to strap a bomb on a kid and walk down my street. I'm more worried about these Jews taking over TikTok, all the media, my currency, my banking system, BlackRock buying up all the farmland and all the housing. I mean, come on, that's the real threat. So Mark Levin and Loomer, give me a break.
Levin, Loomer, she's ridiculous. Did you see?
I was just going to say, to add to this, I did see a post where I guess it's over in, gosh, I can't remember now, Sweden, I believe it is, where they are shaming whites for mating and marrying whites.
Jeez.
Where was this?
I think over in Sweden.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty scary.
Yeah.
So did you see where, and I'm just looking it up to make sure that on X, where, you know, Larry Ellison, the he created Oracle and became a billionaire, and he was basically sold TikTok, the American version of TikTok America.
Mm-hmm.
He owns that, where his wife, Julian Zhu, is a Chinese spy. Now, I don't know if that was fake or not, but it came out on X. I was trying to see if it actually came back as fake news. I don't know. Maybe somebody out there knows, but I thought that was hilarious. Is that he married this woman from China and she's turning out to possibly be a spy. I don't know. That's pretty funny. But
so,
yeah.
So we've got we have some issues with Candace Owens. She's going after Turning Point hard. I mean, hard, and I don't blame her. And she's patient, like she's talking about. She's baited the worm. She's waiting for them to make all their mistakes, and then she just brings the receipts. Bring the receipts. But she's been taking a lot of heat, man. A lot of heat in the media. And Turning Point, we saw, you're finally coming out trying to respond to her. One of the main things that she's pointing out is how some of the staff members are responding after Charlie is shot, like just walking away, not doing anything, not worried about getting shot, just, you know, really odd behavior. And the reason why she's doing this, because she's not giving names, she's not giving text, she's not providing evidence, she's just baiting them. She's thrown it out there, and so now they're coming out trying to defend themselves, and then she'll come out with the receipts. That's what she did last time. So I'm guessing that's probably what she'll do this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, that she even said that. She goes, you know, do you really want me to go there? She kept saying that. She kept saying, you guys need to come out and be honest.
I'm giving you an opportunity.
That's right. Dude, I've got no problems with her, man.
No, I have no issues with her.
Let's play this clip.
Because Charlie sensed that something big was about to happen. And I think that is what the something big was. I also want to say, obviously, I am not making up these messages. Okay, turning point. Actually, Mikey McCoy has access to all of Charlie Kirk's messages. They can tell you that these ones are real. Here's what he wrote. We were again talking about Kanye. Charlie wrote to me, "You're going to be the Iron Lady of America." He had such a political vision for me. I never wanted that sort of a thing. I see it so freaking clearly. I might be Moses, though. I might not see this whole thing through. LMAO. If that is the case, be my David. I said, dude, you haven't even realized your power yet. You're so young, was what I was thinking. He said, if I tell you the true prophecy that I know in my gut, it's really sad, but I hope it's wrong. He went on to say, anyway, I am not sure if I will live to see the end of this revolution. I believe you were the piece that God meant me to meet that will finish the fight. Since the beginning of TPUSA, I knew in my gut that I might get wiped out at any time. I cannot explain it, but I dream about it all the time, like all the time. Anyway, that's depressing combo for another time, LMAO. I said, that's weird, more of a fear manifestation than an actualization. He said, I'm not really afraid of it, but I'm just telling you what I know to be true. And he told me that. I don't know why. Charlie knew he was going to die young. And I don't know. I just felt like I needed to share that because it is in part why the moment that Charlie got shot, I just knew he was betrayed spiritually. In the same way that Charlie knew that he was going to die young, I knew that this was a part of something bigger. And so I wanted to say to you guys, to the people that betrayed Charlie, I would recommend that you come clean, okay? I would recommend that you come clean because Charlie said some other things. And I look at these things now and I think, wow, it's almost prophetic, right? It's almost prophecy. And I can tell you that this is a story that will have a happy ending, a tragedy that will have a happy ending. The world is going to learn the truth about this. They are. I would recommend that you come clean. There are lines in the sand that are being drawn right now between good and evil. Many of you have picked the evil side. Do you?
Many.
Pastors, people that make videos, people that are taking money, tell people don't look over there. I would recommend you stop doing that. You don't have to listen to me. You probably won't listen to me. And to people that betrayed Charlie, you probably won't come clean. Likely because you're scared now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's doing exactly what she said she was going to do.
Happen. And I think that is what this.
Yep.
Now, something interesting. I kind of wanted to make some comments on his text, and I made some comments under Candace's post here as well. And that is, Kirk is likening himself to Moses in the sense that he feels like he's not going to live to actually see the fruits of his labor, of the inheritance, so to speak, of coming into the land. But he says that, but I believe God has brought you into my life to show me that you're going to be kind of like a David. Now, how did God use David? God used David as a military might to conquest the land, to take the land. And then we had a 40-year period of David destroying the enemies and getting all the land that God promised Israel. It said that not one promise of God failed concerning the land. All the land was taken under David. And then another 40 years of Solomon of seeing peace reigning in all of the land. And so he's likening Candace to, I think I'm going to die. I'm not going to see the fruits of my work, but I think I see in you someone that is going to pick up the fight and actually be a warrior and bring some conquest. And then Candace posted something today, I think it was, or maybe it was yesterday, where she said, what do you think about me and Massey running for president? And I said, yeah, man, that would be awesome. I mean, Matt Gaetz, or Marjorie Taylor Greene, Rand Paul, Candace and Massey. I mean, those, and even Tucker, if Tucker wanted to throw his hat in politically.
Yeah, look, I like it, but he's already said no way he wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. But yes, I agree with you. Any one of those 5 would be great.
Yeah. And what I like about Candace and what Charlie said is Charlie, I believe, died. This is my theory now. Can I prove it 100%? No, but this is what I believe now. And there have been some other guys that have, like Greg Reese, have produced a video on Mormonism like 3 weeks after I already gave this theory. And that is, I believe that at the college where he was assassinated was filled with CIA individuals and Mormons. And what they do is they recruit Mormons into their cult, into the CIA, because the Mormons have to go into the mission field, so they know foreign languages. Number one, that's one of the reasons why there's a high recruitment of Mormons in the CIA in Utah at that very college. Number two, they're already in a cult mentality. Number three, the Mormon church already has a hit squad in it. It's called the Danites. If you leave the Mormon church and become an apostate, and you begin attacking the Mormon church and exposing the Mormon church, they have people that will come and kill you and your family. That is a thing. Wow. Number three, within Mormonism, I mean, have you ever watched Glenn Beck cry when he talks about Israel? They have an eschatology where they literally think that they're Jews that came from Israel and were natives, and bizarre crap. Okay. They are more Zionist than dispensationalist. So, and then we have,
oh man, it's just crazy how people
hang on, Mark, hang on. One last component to this. Then we have Charlie Kirk admitting that half of his staff are Mormons. Now, I don't know.
Hang on. Let me ask a question right here. You heard the Tucker interview where Tucker interviewed his 2 main guys. I forgot their names. Did you hear that interview?
No.
Okay, I'll have to find it because all right, next episode, I'm going to get those 2 guys' names. I want to know if they're Mormons or not.
Was it Andrew Colvette and Tyler Boyer?
Yeah, the main producer and then the other, his underling.
Okay.
Are they
I don't
Mormons?
know, but either way, he's saying that half of his staff are Mormons. Mormons are not Christians, and they have no problem with killing apostates or people that they perceive are enemies to their eschatology and them trying to self-fulfill their eschatology. So if Kirk is rethinking his whole theology and eschatology on Israel, at least the foreign policy, and exposing it, and is getting ready to shut down even the funding coming in by Israelis, I can see that infiltration working with Mossad, working with the CIA, and setting up an assassination. Because one of the guys at one of the meetings told Charlie, "You will not live to see December." That was at one of these meetings that Charlie had, which 2 days before he was assassinated, he told 3 individuals that he did not believe, he believed that they were going to assassinate him. And that's the they, and they're Jewish donors, very high-powered people. And so that's my working theory at the moment, because who stands to gain? Israel. Who could be the patsies? Well, even the guy that they have in jail is a Mormon, right? He comes from the guy they're claiming shot him.
That's correct.
Comes from a Mormon family. So the eschatology's there, the CIA connections there, the Mossad, the Zionist connections already there. So,
not to mention Erica Kirk and the connections her parents have to the DOD and to Israel.
Yeah, that is that's pretty bizarre. And then we have whistleblowers saying, and what are you going to do with that whistleblower? You kind of need a testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, but we're having some people within Turning Point saying that Charlie was coming to them concerned about his own wife
trying to take over
the whole agency and making orders, and he was like, whoa, I don't know what's going on. Then he was concerned. Some people are saying he got the Epstein files, and he was learning things about his wife in connection with some of that, and he was concerned about that. So, there's a lot that's still up in the air, some things that need to be proven. I don't want to say that I know all these things. I'm just kind of working out theories and things that don't make sense. And these are some of the things that don't quite make sense.
And why in the world? Nobody in their right mind can believe that the 30-06 killed Charlie Kirk. But why we have voices like Steven Crowder and Jack Posobiec and Insurrection Barbie and Cat Turd and everybody else, like even Juanita Broderick out there. Candace has lost her mind. She's going insane. We have to believe what we're being told. It's coordinated. And it's coordinated on the right side, just like it was on the left side. And you've got to see through it.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Insurrection Barbie and Cat Turd, man. Those two, they have to be paid off.
They have to.
Because they have literally jettisoned everything. If you go back and look at their tweets like a year ago, they've gotten rid of everything. I've got a little, maybe I'll show it for the show's over. I've got a little stamp that I always, when somebody says something crazy, like they'll say something, you have to support Israel for this, or you have to do, I always load that graphic in to show them that they're supported, the 7,000. Yeah, it's like the 7,000. Let me see if I can find it. But they have to be paid for because they're 180 degrees from where they were a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just sellouts, man. Just sellouts. Terrible. Yeah, I've gotten rid of all of them. Unfortunately, I comment on things and they pop up, and the X algorithm thinks, oh, I like them, so they start generating all this stuff, and all it does is then gets me more angry because I see them.
Right. For sure.
It's a never-ending cycle.
Well, let me take this moment to explain why I will not be, most likely anyway, showing any more Stu Peters videos.
Okay.
All right, so let me give you a little background on this. So I like Stu Peters. I showed a lot of clips of him because he's pretty solid on the Jew thing. He talks about the Talmud, and he's tried in the past to even interact with Zionist pastors. And he doesn't know the Bible that well, but he was willing to at least engage and, scripturally the best he could. Mm-hmm. But he had a guy on his show that was saying that only the white race is redeemable. God will only save the white race. When you go to heaven, you won't see any blacks. You won't see any Jews. And he was trying to say that the Jewish race, that the Jewish race is still for today. Remember, I told you, these people have an eschatology. That's why some of them still need a Jewish race today. Well, this is not an exception to that rule. And this guy was saying the Jewish race is still today. It's Satan, and they can't be saved at all. And one of the unpardonable sins is for a white person to marry a black. And it was so out there. It was so blatantly racist. And this guy had a claim. He says, I have a claim. I'll give anyone $10,000 if they can prove me wrong. Well, you know me, I got right in there. I was one of the first ones. I was like, I take you up on your challenge. I want to publicly debate you. I'll pay for my own airplane ticket down to Stu Peters, your show. Let's get on the couch. Let's open our Bibles. Let's discuss this because I want that 10 grand and I want to humiliate you in front of all of your followers. Now, Stu Peters, and I said, Stu, you are responsible for this. You have a guy on. You're admitting you're agreeing with this doctrine. You are a true racist. Now, pure and simple. You're not, now you don't even know what the gospel is. That's
Right.
not even Christianity at this point. And Stu would not respond to anything I said. I said, look, this guy had a challenge. I'm stepping up to meet the challenge. And it's just, so no more Stu Peters. The guy's just a total loser, in my estimation. So, and he's the kind of guy that makes us look bad now.
Yeah,
He's the kind
absolutely.
of guy, he's the one that everyone's gonna lump us in with, right? Total joke.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. I didn't see that. I don't follow him too much. He gets on rants and
Mhm.
Well, he cusses all the time, and I don't really
That's
like
right. He gets,
someone dropping the F-bomb. And Nick Fuentes does the same thing.
yeah.
It's really irritating. It's like, guys, come on, you're out of high school, right? You can do better than that.
Yeah. So here's the graphic. So when I see posts like that, cat turd and all of them, this is the monogram I give them. You don't even comment. You just put that graphic on there and let it go.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've had a few. In fact, Insurrection Barbie came up with her own after I did that. I did that to her about 3 times, and then she posted one and said, "No, this is mine." She didn't address me directly, but yeah, it annoys them. So if you want it, anybody that wants it, let me know.
that's funny.
What do you think about a 2028 campaign of some kind of combination between Massey, Matt Gaetz, Candace Owens, Rand Paul? I mean, the way this is moving, like there is a radical division now within the America First platform because of the 2 points that Trump has totally failed on. He's gone back against his own platform, his own convictions, convictions. And so it's easy to destroy him because all you have to do is quote him and say, you're not America First in these 2 areas. And we're taking over. We are America First. And so we've got some candidates that are going to follow through on your promises.
Honestly, I thought, so let me say this. I think this is the beginning of the end of the Republican Party. I believe this is the beginning of what we've needed for a long time, whether it's going to be on the right or wrong side of a third party getting for the first time credibility. Now, is this going to happen in 2028? No. But I think what you're going to see is exactly what you're talking about. You're going to get candidates that are more independent than Republican. I'm hoping more libertarian, but maybe not. But you're going to get more, kind of like what's going on with the left in New York City with Mondavi, or what's his name?
Mondami, yeah.
Yeah.
Where
you're getting the extreme of the left. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get the extreme of the right, but what I'm saying is you're seeing the fracturing of the Democratic Party, and I think 2028 is going to be that as well. I think you're going to have candidates that'll get in there that are Republican because that's the only way they're going to get money, but they're going to be a lot more, my hope is, libertarian.
Right.
And I think we need someone that is known. Rand Paul has been in the business a long time. He's known. Yes, I'd love to see a Thomas Massey come up. The problem is nobody knows who he is. And Trump won the election not because of Republicans, but because of independents, because of Joe Schmoes that don't really like what he said, but they know nothing about politics. So if you introduce a Thomas Massey, nobody knows who he is.
I don't know. I think Massey's got a lot of name recognition.
In our circles, he does, but you go out and start talking about, I mean, even I was talking to my wife and she's like, well, yeah, Thomas Massey, but who is he? She goes, I've kind of heard of him because Fox News isn't talking about him. No one's really talking about him. So I think we need someone strong. Now, not to say that she's going to run, but she's getting named. Marjorie Taylor Greene's getting recognition. He's coming up in the ranks of especially libertarians. They're loving her. But I think we're going to need a name recognition.
Well, Matt Gaetz has name recognition for sure, and the
I
fact
like Matt Gaetz, but they kicked him out. The Republican Party has basically kicked him out.
well, that's the whole point of our movement, is to bring guys like him in to lead it.
But I don't know that he can
the
get back in.
Republican
I don't
Party.
know if he wants to get back in.
Oh,
I think if you want to talk about who's at second place, it would probably be him out of those people. Rand Paul first, Matt Gaetz second from a standpoint of Republicans know who he is. Maybe he can get back in. Maybe he can get that name recognition with independents, because that's the key. The key is most Americans do not side with Democrats or Republicans. I would have never registered as a Republican. I had to vote for Ron Paul. You have to register as one of two to vote for the candidate that you want in the primaries.
Wow.
So most people don't do that, and it's not because of that. They just don't care. They're just like, when the election comes up, I'll vote, and I'm going to watch who that is. And you're going to have somebody that has some name recognition. And yes, Matt Gaetz has a little, and maybe he could get a lot more if he's interested in running. But I think Rand Paul could be a good candidate, and then grab Massey as his vice president, and that'd be great.
Yeah.
JD Vance, I mean, he scares me because he's in the machine, but he hasn't really okay, he's out, totally out.
I think his background is a little scary.
With Peter Thiel.
But here's the thing.
Palantir.
I think that we need to have Matt Gaetz. We need to have Rand Paul. We need to have Massey all run against these other guys, just so we know the percentage, to where we know how big our movement is.
No, I can agree with that.
No more. We don't want Israel ruling our nation anymore. That is an uncompromised position. Like it's just like free speech, and that goes with Israel too. We don't. The ADL, Israel is not going to control our speech, not going to control our foreign policy, not going to control our currency.
Yeah.
And buying up all our houses and all our companies, our media, that crap's not happening anymore. These are our representatives.
Yes.
And we need to get some data to see, how much of Americans are seeing this.
It's inevitable that the 2028 platform will come up. Absolutely. Because too many Americans.
It's the number one issue, dude.
It could
really
be.
is.
It could be.
I think
inflation and the
sweep under the rug, but it is going to be there.
Yeah, well, and I think it's going to be driven for the fact that inflation's going to get by 2028. It's not going to be good. I think we're heading into some very difficult times that the United States has never seen before from an inflationary standpoint. I think in 2028 we could absolutely see 6, 7, 8, and I'm saying this is the government numbers, 6, 7, 8% inflation. That is unstoppable. But then people are going to ask, okay, why? Why is this like this? And I think this will lead into these, never-ending wars. Well, who's starting these wars in the platform? Absolutely. I think, and you're right, it will be one of the top discussions that Republicans are going to have to answer.
Yeah. Babe, Trump is saying, or not Trump, Steve Bannon is saying, what about Trump's third term?
Steve Bannon is convinced, and he's out there almost campaigning for the fact that Trump is going to get a third term, and that they're going to do this constitutionally.
Nah, it's not going to happen. But there was a thing that came out that said JD Vance will run and make Trump as a vice president, and that I guess that is legal. I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me if that's legal or not from a constitutional standpoint. But I thought that was funny. I said, well, okay, he's going to find a loophole, and then he's going to ask JD Vance to step down, and then bam.
Well, the only loophole, which may not be a loophole, is that they stole the election from him.
And that they actually can.
And an
prove it.
auto pen
did.
run by the globalists, by
Yeah,
Israel,
I mean, absolutely.
that stole his election. I mean, that would be the only way I could see it. But
I did think it was interesting. I guess Trump in a recent press conference did come out and say that they were drafting an executive order to ban mail-in ballots.
that's good.
I am 100% behind that.
Yep.
I just think that we need to draft legislation that actually goes through Congress so that we can pass a law that won't be immediately overturned the next time a Democrat's in office.
You know, it seemed like when I first started voting and kind of getting interested in politics, and it was probably 20, 21 years old. You didn't have the mail-in ballots were for servicemen and people living abroad. You didn't have that option being at your home, and if you were in the continental United States, that was not an option. And we need to go back to that. And if we've got to write a law to do that, then I'm absolutely 100% behind it.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, anything else going on?
I'm going to share. Well, I don't know, Denise. You have anything else?
No. I guess the only other thing that caught my attention was that Dr. Peter McCullough and his group have come out with a comprehensive study that have reviewed 300 studies that show conclusively that vaccines are the dominant factor in autism, the dominant risk factor in autism. And that is now being widely dispersed and made public.
Yep. In fact, who was that? I got an email from, it starts with the Fox, Irritated Fox. Do you know who I'm talking about? Find it real quick. Yes, that article blew me away, and I saved it. Maybe it's still on. No, I saved it, and then I couldn't find it because I was like, all right, the show, I'm going to talk about this. But that was exactly right. There is undisputable evidence now that these vaccines have caused this. And one of the guys lost his license because he was a proponent of vaccines. And he's like, I'm going to prove that vaccines are great. And when he did the study and it came out, he went, oh, okay, actually they're not. And they're like, you need to shut up. And he's like, no, I'm not going to shut up. And they were like, yeah, you are. And they stripped him of his medical license.
Yeah.
Anyway, man.
Great to have Kennedy in. Kennedy is doing a great job.
Yes.
And, we've criticized him before, but we have no idea what that guy is up against Rockefeller.
Yeah.
I have honestly wondered, just given how far off Trump is from everything he campaigned on, except Kennedy, if that is the one area where they're letting us have our way, just so they can give us something and keep baiting us in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think Trump, from that standpoint, I think he doesn't even care. He's like, whatever, do whatever you want. I got to focus on the economy. I got to get the economy back. And he's doing what he's good at. And he needs to. Unfortunately, I think he's just going to cause more inflation doing it. But that's what he's focused on, what he knows he's good at.
Yeah.
And it's not politics, it's the economy and making deals. But all right, so let me share this. So there is in South America some hope for finally some freedom that is actually going to be even greater than what the United States has had. And this is Javier Milei.
Oh, I can't stand it.
Midterm election his party won 41% of the votes and will increase its numbers in the parliament from 37 to 101 and taking the senator will increase from 6 to 20. I said when he got elected, I said, you watch this country and you watch their inflation rate when he was elected was at 200%. It's at 37% right now. He's cut the government by 65 or 70%.
Mm.
And I said, you watch, if he stays in office, and I don't know what their deal is, but if he stays in office for less than 10 years, more than 5, less than 10, you're going to see that country do phenomenal. And now with all of the support that he's going to have in the votes, it's going to be even faster. So this is going to be one to watch. And you see all these people, I don't know.
The thing that concerns me, Mark, about these guys is that part of the bigger game plan is to give them a hero. And the hero just always seems to have this one common denominator. They're freaking Zionists.
Oh, he is. Absolutely, he is.
So it's like, here, we're going to give you everything you want over here, but we're going to destroy you ultimately by going into this one world order led by Zionism and the Talmud and the Noahic.
Now, if you listen to him when he went to,
I watched him cry when he was touching that wall, man. I thought he was going to make.
He actually hugged it too. It was like ridiculous.
Good grief!
I think
psychological nutcase.
I think some of that may have been for show. You know, he was a musician and a performer before he was. But if you heard him at the World, where was it? He was speaking at the UN or something. He said he pushed back against globalism.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what. That's the problem with these guys. Trump,
he may not.
He does not know that his Talmud, his Zionism is the top of the food chain to that wicked organization. It's amazing how these guys just don't see it in plain sight unless they're a part of it. But
I have a question. I mean, why, if he's doing so well with the economy, did we need to bail out their beef farmers?
Yeah.
Instead of our own.
Talking about Massey's going after that hard.
So that was a deal that Trump did, and in fact, what's her name? Who's the blonde-haired girl on Fox?
Which one?
The young girl that comes out. Tony. Who?
Was it the former press secretary?
Tommy, what's her name?
Oh, Tommy Lahren.
Tommy Lahren. Yeah.
She's come out and called Trump on the carpet for that because I guess her dad or somebody's a cattle farmer. She's called him out on the carpet for that. But I think that was part of the deal that they worked out. You know, we are buying a lot of the Argentinian currency, and it's still at 37% inflation. Why would the United States do that? Well, Trump's working deals. He wants rare earth minerals. Argentina has things that we want. So we're on the surface, it looks like we're doing dumb things. We are ultimately, but he wants those things. So he's making deals. And look, Javier Milei may be a musician and a goofball, but he knows his stuff. He studied, he knows Mises, he understands Hayek, he understood the Austrian economic theory of economics. He knows from an economic standpoint what to do. And I think that whole thing was just a deal. It's just a deal. And it looks stupid to us, and it is, but it's just part of the deal to get what we want, which is rare earth. And we want rare earth minerals. I
don't care how successful people are. I don't trust a Zionist because that is such a weak link in the chain. That is like the number one weak link. And I keep my eye on people like that. I don't care how much.
I agree, but think, and I do, and this is the conundrum because yes, the Rothschilds are Keynesian. They love government printing. Why did Milei run on Austrian economics? He talked about Hayek. He talked about all these Austrian economics and how freedom works. And when he got into office, he started doing it. Now, why did he go to the wall and kiss it and hug it and cry? I don't know. But what he understands philosophically from an economic standpoint and what he's done for that country so far has been the exact opposite of what Rothschild
Mm.
and Keynesian economics stands for. So I don't know. It's going to be great to see it play out. And I hope it does, because it could be a beacon for us up here.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
always concerned about the whole, we'll give them a hero. We'll give them a hero. We'll give them someone to get some progress done, but then we'll use that very hero against them ultimately
We'll see.
to get what they want. And so that's I keep my eye on it. That's
Hey, look, absolutely. I'm not arguing that with you, because he's still at the end of the day a politician, and I don't trust any of them. There's only one I ever trusted. He's retired, and I still love him. I'll probably even go when he dies. I'll have to go to his funeral. I'll drive to Texas. But there was only one, and that broke the mold after him. But I don't trust any of them. You're right.
Well, Deborah in the comment says my granddaughter is sterilized because of the Gardasil vaccine. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
I refused to get that one for my, and I had all of my older.
Yeah, my wife did too.
I refused
Our
that.
daughter, she said no. She said no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
All
I do
right.
want to thank Karen too for posting the Chuck Baldwin thing. I'm gonna have to look into this guy now. I did like what he said, and he did a recent interview on Ron Paul's Liberty show. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Thanks, Karen.
Very cool. All right, we are up at our hour mark, and guys, thank you so much for staying tuned. Oh, and also, new book is going to be coming out here on the rapture, right? Going to be proving that Christ's parousia came in AD 70 and the rapture was an internal event, just like Jesus said when he would be revealed from heaven at the second coming, that the kingdom would be revealed within us. It wouldn't be something we could see here or there, but it would be within us. It would be spiritual, and we would need faith to know that it had already happened according to John 14. So Paul is in perfect harmony with Jesus in the Olivet Discourse, saying that the parousia would take place and that eschatological gathering would take place in his generation. Paul words it a little bit differently in 1 Thessalonians 4. But if you understand apocalyptic language, you understand the nature of Christ's kingdom when he would come in that generation, you'll understand that rapture passage. Now, this is a proof copy from the printer, and
Great cover. I love the cover.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, and the title is The Rapture Always Near or Already Fulfilled. And they always say always near, near, soon, quickly. It just means always near. No, that's a contradiction. Something can't be always near. That is two different words, man. I mean, just think about it. Wrap your head around it.
Right.
Anyway, so that will be coming out soon.
Yeah, and on the Rumble channel, I put all the links down there to your current book. We'll put the new one in. Of course, to the Mises Institute.
Yeah, there you
Always
go.
got to show love there. So, all right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you, Mark. Take care.
All right.